the second of 6 Black History Month events we're having this month. We're really excited to have Maximus Wright with us this evening. We met Maximus just a couple years ago during the 25th anniversary of A Time to Kill. If you remember John Grisham's book, made a 25-year anniversary. And we were able to work together on a collaborative project, and we were just really, really impressed with his ability to command the students and help them learn in such a wonderful way. So when we started talking about creating a series to bring back guest artists for our students this month, Mr. Shelburne said immediately that he would love to have Maximus return. And I told him that Miss Esther has been the best assistant that I have had. Anybody, all of the artists that I work with, she's the most responsive, so it's been wonderful. But I hope that you will spread the word about these events. We have 3 more next week. So next Tuesday in Lambton Auditorium, which is right on the other side of our campus, Ezekiel McCall is one of our graduates. He'll be back to sing at 6 o'clock. And he is on Broadway in The Lion King, and he has a long, long resume of performances, and so that'll be a free event as well in Lambton. And then on Wednesday, we have Nick Stone, who is an acclaimed author, and she'll be here working with our literary students, and then she'll be right in this room again, talking about her work on Wednesday night at 6. And then on Thursday night, we will have Stephen Phillips, who is a Mississippi potter. He is a ceramicist, and he'll be working with our visual students all week. And they'll be doing an art show of his work on Thursday night at 5:30 in the gallery downstairs. If you didn't see the art as you came in, I hope that you will stay and go see it after the show tonight. But we're just really thrilled to have Maximus here. He is an acclaimed filmmaker. We are proud as Mississippians to have him in our state. And we are just really excited to hear what he has to say, because I know that there's some surprises we're going to learn about tonight. Some very, very special people are in the audience, and so I'm just really, really excited. I've had the pleasure to give a tour, and I can't wait to hear more about the project. So Maximus, welcome.
It goes without saying that I'm honored to be here. You know, they didn't have to think of little me to come and be a part of this, but I'm so grateful that they are. It is always wonderful to be acclaimed, to be esteemed by other people, but when you're esteemed at home, it's special. It's very special. And anytime I have an opportunity to kind of impart anything to the next generation, I consider it an honor. Walt Disney said that our greatest natural resource is our young people, and I believe it. So, I've been with the young people for the last 2 days, so I'm kind of here to talk to some of you all who are young at heart. And this is about the vision that we have for filmmaking in this state and how I see that we can make this happen. And also, we're not just going to talk, we're going to actually give some parts on how we're moving in that direction at this moment. I want to show a quick little video. I promise you I'm not going to get video happy tonight and show a bunch of videos. But I want to show a quick, about 2 to 3 minute video that's going to lead up to what we're talking about.
Why is film tourism important? The statistics are clear. Film commissions now compete for a global film industry worth $88 billion each year. The global international tourism revenue reaches $1.2 trillion. Total contribution of travel and tourism to the global economy is $7.5 trillion. Over 1 billion people travel internationally for pleasure each year. 1 in every 5 tourists are motivated by the movies or TV programs that they have seen. 1/5 of 1.2 trillion is $240 billion. When we measure the value of the film industry without tourism, we leave out more than half of its income. How can films impact a specific location? When Lord of the Rings was made, visitors to New Zealand rose from 1.6 million tourists to 2.5 million. That's a 55% increase. After Braveheart was filmed at Wallace Monument, Scotland visitors rose from 40,000 to 126,000. That's a 215% increase. After Tomb Raider was filmed in Cambodia, they saw an increase of 100,000 to 1.5 million tourists. That's a 1,400% increase. Film production is an investment that can pay dividends for many years. 25 years after Field of Dreams was made, they're still seeing 65,000 tourists a year. The Sound of Music was made in 1965 and sees around 300,000 tourists a year. Film tourism can double the impact of production in the short term and keep paying dividends for years and years and years. Come join us at Cineposium 2015 in Barcelona.
So this is a old clip, but it's introducing the thought of what they call film-induced tourism. So basically what film-induced tourism is, people go places that they see in the movies, right? So, anybody remember the movie Deliverance? Y'all remember the movie? How many old enough remember Deliverance? All right. Do you know Deliverance? They made a whitewater rafting industry around that movie. And they still get like 40,000 people a year to come see Deliverance. So my question, proud Mississippians that we are, how many people you think want to come to Mississippi for a time to kill, a Mississippi burning, and help? You see how that's bad advertising? So how do we fix that? We fix that by creating our own projects. We fix that by writing stories that reflect who we are. Because I don't know about the last time you traveled, but when I travel, one of the questions I'm getting asked all the time is like, y'all got running water? Y'all got indoor plumbing? And they say, boy, it must be hard on you down there, man. Look, them white folk out there, ain't it? I'm like, man, listen, me and Ted, we're soccer dads. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you get the craziest stuff by thinking that we can't get along as races. They think we're the most backwards people in the world. And most of these folk are not getting this because they travel here. They're getting this because they're looking at the movies. So you don't think this is important? My question is, what if Brookhaven became a film hub? What if Brookhaven became a tourism spot for movies? What could it do to the economy? You're right here on 55. People are going to New Orleans anyway, or going to Memphis anyway. What if Brookhaven started to think in terms of, hey, we got a school here. Why don't we utilize this school in such a way that we start making film production a priority? What would it do for the economy here? That's how we need to think. Okay, Maximus, you got my attention, because Joe like, okay, you got my attention. This requires Joe been since I met him, because now we're talking about money. Joe's the money guy, right? Did you see Indonesia, their tourism went up by 1,000%? 1,000% to Indonesia. You hear me? How much could happen if we start putting out good quality films that reflect who we really are for right here? We have this thing called the Jackson Film Festival. This is our 5th year. This is our 5th year in existence. And this year we're commemorating the 25th anniversary of the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Oh Brother Where Art Thou was filmed here in Mississippi, right? Great songs, great music. And someone told me today that somebody here in the community was one of the little girls in the movie. I would love to talk to her, because we would love to bring her in. So what we want to do, what we do at the festival is that we bring in experts to do trainings, but also we want to start letting our children know that this is a platform so they can do lunch, connect, network, and stop waiting until they graduate high school or college to become a filmmaker. I have been with these kids for the last 2 days, and I tell you, this school has something that is very special. We have written curriculums for 4-year colleges and institutions. These kids, in some ways, are better prepared than the kids that are in college that are trying to get this program going, because they're doing the work already. We are partnered with groups like ECOP that's in LA. This is an internship program that if these kids get accepted, they have a 93% job placement rate for studios like Pixar, studios like Lionsgate. These are the biggest studios in the world, and we've been able to funnel that type of engine here to this state. But our kids at the college level, we've only been able to place three. We've only been able to place 3 in the last couple of years because they didn't have the basic skills that some of these kids got right now. But if we don't know about it, how can we take advantage of it? So during the festival, we want these kids to submit. We want them to submit their projects. We want them to get engrossed. And we're also saying, hey, Brookhaven, why don't we get smart and let's come together and create something? Because film-friendly towns benefit. And there are a lot of towns that are getting films in it, like the Coast and Jackson. And I know what both of y'all saying about Jackson, but Jackson's still getting films. And the only reason Jackson getting films is because when you say Mississippi, they say Jackson. They don't know Brookhaven. If they knew about Brookhaven, they would be coming here wanting to make films. But that has to be an intentional plan that we do. Anybody ever heard of the movie The Forge? Anyone heard of the movie The Forge? Y'all ever heard of The Forge? Can I play another trailer? Okay, we're gonna play the trailer. See if y'all heard it. I'm quite sure y'all might have seen it.
No, it is. My dad told me he was gonna fix it with me.
This is the way he left it. Like everything else.
I'm giving you 1 month to find a job, or you can find one of your little friends that's gonna let you sleep on their couch for free.
Help me? I'm just trying to talk to that lady right here. I need you to leave my shop right now. I'm gone. And I won't be back either.
Right there, you're following him. I ain't him. You acting like him. What? It's hard for a woman to call out the man of her son. I just need some prayer support.
I'm just trying to see about a job, right? I ain't here about that. What, you a salesman for this company?
I'm the president. That's no more. A big part of becoming a man is showing up. Can you do that out there?
You made all these promises.
When my sister tells me that she needs prayer support, honey, I bring prayer support. Am I in the right place? Miss Clara. We pray that the Lord will open Isaiah's eyes so that he could see himself the way that the Lord sees him.
You're 50 minutes early.
It's trying to be late again.
I want to introduce you to a small group of men that mean the world to me. We grow together, we eat together. It's one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. God has forgiven me so much. Who was I to refuse to forgive? Okay, Jesus, I give it to you. What kind of man do you want to be? And what do you want people to think when they see you coming? We only got 6 of us, 7 including him. I'm willing to go the second round. We can't just walk out and do nothing. Let's roll. I may be right. A man standing in front of me. Isaiah, welcome to the Forge.
Now that is good. Miss Clara, I need you to come back here more often. Mm-hmm. Keisha needs you.
All right, so I don't know if y'all remember the movie back in the day called Fireproof. These are the Kendrick brothers. These are the same guys that produced this movie, they produced The War Room, and now they produce this movie, The Forge. So why is this so interesting, right? You saw the young man that was the lead actor? His name is Aspen Kennedy. You know, the first movie he ever played in was mine. So this is the first look at his audition tape. But y'all might not believe it. Joe might think I made this up.
State your name, height, and the role to the camera.
My name is Aspen Kennedy Brown Wilson, 5'9".
All right, stop. He was not 5'9", he was lying. He's not 5'9". So this is the reason why I show this. When I was talking to the young people here today, I was letting them know, you can turn lights on. I was letting them know, this is not something that I'm just talking about. This is something that's very possible. He was a junior when I met him. He asked me what he needed to do. I told him. He went on and did it. Now, my calling was to continue to build infrastructure here. But he moved to Atlanta. His first acting classes that I know was with my group. And we kept working with him over the years. And now he's the lead in a film that is currently #1, Venezuela, I think. A couple weeks ago it was #5 on Netflix. So these are not dreams anymore. This is not pipe dreams anymore. This is very much a possibility. The other interesting thing about this movie, The Forge, is that the couple that was in it, Arnett, Cameron Arnett and BJ Arnett, the wife, They want to be part of the Jackson Film Festival this year. They have asked, they say, we want to come to Mississippi and make movies. We want to come and make Christian-based movies. And I said, you know something? I am currently working on a Christian-based movie right now in Brookhaven, Mississippi, called From Darkness to Light. So we got a couple pieces moving here. It's all about strategy. But what I'm trying to do tonight is to try to present what the possibilities could be for Brookhaven, what the possibilities could be for the film industry, what could the possibilities be for using film as evangelism, the possibilities of making our kids not think they got to leave the state to be able to make a living doing what they love to do. I have been a filmmaker for the last 10 years, and it is the only job I got. I am a unicorn. But it is only by the grace of God, because I can't even explain to you how I have been able to survive, and I got 4 kids. Okay, oh yeah, oh, look, I'm older than I look now. I'm older than I look. My kids are older than you are. Oh yeah, I'm I almost same age. But I'm older than I look. I just gotta keep the mystique right now because you make me feel good. Because you're like, what? You guys look old enough to have kids that old? Yes, I am. Oh yeah, when me and mom married, I was 21 when we got married. So. But this is a real thing, and I know that we can do this, but we got to start talking about how can we put a strategy together to make this work. So one of the pieces is we got to raise money, because even though good folk are coming here, they ain't coming for free. It's a business. If it's a business arrangement, I get there. So we're doing that. The other thing is, while we're making this project, we need the community to help us make this project, because people are going to judge us based on what we produce. If we produce a great project, and what I've already told them, I said, we can make the same movies you all make just as good for half the price. Of course you're going to get their attention. So now, it's come to the point that we need to prove what we can do. And tonight I have some very special people tonight who, for a new project that we're going to be doing here, that we're going to be starting the 1st of April, the first weekend in April. The movie's called From Darkness to Light. It's the story of Miss Colleen Sanders and her mentor, Mr. Joe Price. So we're going to pull these chairs out, and we're going to bring some of them up, and we're going to talk to you all tonight about why this film is important. And we're also going to talk to you about the possibilities of what this film could do. And then I'm going to shut up, let these folks talk, and then if you have any questions, we're going to field the questions. I see we also got another cast member that's here tonight, so we thank God for Nicole being here. So at this time, we're going to bring Pastor Ryan up. And Pastor Ryan is going to kind of give us some words and talk to us about how he feels about what we want to.
Thank you, Maximus. Hey, I want to show a round of applause for that. So I was blessed to meet Miss Colleen a few weeks ago now, and Joe Price, one of my church members, came to my office before that, and he said, hey, and you never know when Joe walks in the door what you're going to get. You never know how the story's going to go. You never know what's the flavor for the day. And so Joe walks in, and he shared with me, and he says, I'm going to introduce you to somebody, and I want you to eventually meet her. And of course, I'll fast forward, and I was able to meet Miss Colleen, and was delighted to do so. To hear the story of Joe's relationship with Miss Colleen over these past many, many years, I said, Joe, you've been holding out on me. And then to find out that the film was being produced, I said, I did not have an idea. I had a movie star in the church on top of that. But I was blessed and still blessed to hear this story of which you're going to be introduced to tonight through this film. I was sitting there thinking when Maximus was sharing just about the state of Mississippi. I'm a native of Louisiana, but reared here in Mississippi, so I don't know really what that makes me. So I claim Mississippi as home. And something I was thinking of when he was sharing, reputations are real, aren't they? And your reputation, it lasts a long time. And a lot of times people think that there's no way I can overcome a reputation that I have, or maybe that my family has, or maybe that a state would have. But as I share with my kids often, nothing changes until you change. And so there has to be, like he has shared already, there has to be a change of mindset. There has to be a change of approach. There has to be a change that has to be taken in order for reputations to change. I have been blessed by the things that I have grown up and seen and have been encouraged living in this wonderful community of Brookhaven, seeing what God has done in this community. And I think it is past time for those outside of our state, those around the nation, to understand just who we are. And really, maybe even more importantly, who we're not. And to understand that there's a lot of good here in the state of Mississippi. There's a lot of good in this community that we call Brookhaven. And so a film such as this that would highlight that would highlight the friendships that are fostered and that are developed and that God would bless, that God would use, I don't have any reason not to support something such as that. And so it was my delight to hear the story, to hear the testimony, and to have these very small parts in this journey that Ms. Colleen, Maximus, and others are on, Joe, they're on to highlight to really the world of who we are in the state of Mississippi. So thank you, Maximus, for the invitation tonight, and praying God's blessings on the project.
Thank you so much. It's so important that we come together because, regardless of what our political affiliations are, they don't really matter. At the end of the day, we're human, and we can't make it without each other. And I think that's the message that we need to be saying on, that we need each other to make this a better place for our children and for us. All right? Brother Sheldon Gooch is one of the leads he's one of the actors in the film, and he has been a part of this project from the very beginning.
Good evening. Well, I'm just really honored to be a part of this project for a number of reasons. Number one, I think the world of Maximus and Esther, and I watched him evolve from where he was at the beginning to where he is now. And it's just absolutely amazing. And the other reason I'm excited to be a part of it is because of this young lady, Colleen Sanders, who I met back in 94, 95, when we actually went into business together. And I always knew that there was something different about her because she would disappear at a certain time of the year, every year, and no one knew where she was. And I didn't realize, and we didn't realize that she was dealing with the things that she had experienced as a child and as a young person. And talking about from the very beginning, I've heard her stories as we were driving up and down the highway, and absolutely amazing for her to turn out the way she did. You heard people say, you don't look like what you've been through. And she does not look like what she's been through. She's been through a lot. And God just touched her and caused her to prosper. And I mean, she has prospered in a big way. And along this journey, she has helped so many people. People come to her, and I'm around her, so I see it. And they come out with so much that their hands are shaped like cups, Like they just expect her to give. And she has always done that. So when she said we're getting ready to do this movie, and she was going to do it with Maximus, I just knew it was going to be a winner because, number one, his ability to put this on, but for her to be able to share her heart and be able to put it out there, it's going to be a huge thing. And I'm just excited. She's my hero, And so we hope that you'll get behind it. There are going to be other segments that follow and other opportunities you'll be setting your sights on. Where there's darkness, there will be light. From darkness to light. And I'm just excited. When she said, you're going to play this person, that was enough for me. I'm good. I just want to be a part of it. So anyway, hope you enjoy it, and thank you again for allowing us to come in and share.
Thank you, Brother Gooch. Next guy I'd like to bring up is Mr. Joe Price. I just had the pleasure of recently meeting Joe, and Joe feels like an old friend. If anybody know anything about me, I only pick on the people I care about. And I've been picking on Joe ever since I met him. But what made this story special was it debunks everything that people outside of Mississippi do not know about us. Back 30 years ago, when this young woman was trying to figure things out, here, this white guy comes and sees something in her that she didn't see in herself. And he didn't just tell her, he stood by until she made good on who she was. Now I'm gonna tell a little bit about who she has become, because she's not gonna tell it, because that's just not her way. But it says a whole lot for a guy to look at her and say, this could have been my daughter. This could have been my daughter, and I'm gonna treat her like I would treat my daughter. I'm gonna show her and impart in her like a father would impart to a daughter. And that was amazing for that to happen, but these are the type of stories that need to be told. So, this is Joe Price.
Thank you, Maximus. I would like to take a whole lot of credit for this, but my wife Pam here had an equal part in this. We were a partnership in helping develop Colleen. Ironically, I was in the hospital and Colleen was walking the halls with her sisters and spoke to me, and I spoke to her, and as it evolved, we became friends. At the time, when the insurance industry was still going and the oil industry was not going, I was selling insurance for a while. And I've always taken a little pride in myself to recognize and find people that I felt like had a special talent. This was the case here, and I got home and I was telling Pam about it. I said, I met this lady. I said, she's got the most outgoing personality. We have just got to see if we can ever do anything to help her or so forth. And Pam stepped forward and said, yes, we will, and we have. And I talked her to getting into the insurance industry with me. And when I first met Colleen, I'm not saying this as a bad thing, but she wouldn't even look you in the eye. Wouldn't look you in the eye. She had so much potential, and I recognize that. But the biggest thing that I want to emphasize is this is not a black and a white issue. This is a Christian approach. This is a community approach. Color of skin makes no difference when you want to help somebody or you have a desire or have something on your heart that you want to help. And it's not always been a free and easy road. Sometimes it's been a little bit more difficult than we maybe have wanted it. We also had a lot of tough love, didn't we, Colleen? And you say things to people to push them a little bit over the edge and just get them to the point where they say, hey, this crazy white guy really believes in me, I don't know why, I don't know what he sees in me, but he sees something, and sometimes I will get a little bit stumped. I say, well, what do we do? The Pam will step forward and say, well, Joe, you've been a little bit hard on her. You need to do this, you need to do that, and I really appreciate her input on it as well. Pam deserves as much credit for this as I do, and I want to thank you for what you've done, Pam, to step forward and be a part of this and support me in what I do. I never thought of it as doing anything special. I never have. I still don't now, because we have developed a friendship now that's lasted over 30, 35 years, and our friendship is just as strong today as it was 35 years ago. And I cannot tell you how proud I am of her and how thrilled I am to just be a part of something that, as Maximus says, can put a different light on Mississippi, put a different light on Brookhaven. And who knows what this little seed right here can develop into something down the road that, as Maximus says, make Brookhaven a place that people would want to come and realize that we do have some equality and we do appreciate people for who they are. And I'm just thankful, Maximus, that you brought this forward. It surprised me, but I'm very proud that it is, because it gives us an opportunity to showcase what we can do as individuals toward other people, irregardless of race, irregardless of status. It's just loving people for being people and just doing what's right. Thank you, Maximus.
I'm only going to disagree with you just on a little part. When you start saying that about Pam. Pam wasn't just the good part. She's extraordinary because she had to deal with you all these years. And that's what she told me. I said, how'd you do it? She said, I'm an extraordinary woman. I said, you are as absolute God. But we thank Joe. But I want to go ahead and hurry up because I want to get to your questions. Because I'm quite sure you might have some. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Colleen Sanders, Miss Sanders. This woman grew up right here. These people are from this area. They're not from somewhere else. They're from the Brookhaven area. They're from here. They grew here. This story actually took place here. The story that we're telling actually took place, what street over there where you used to live? Washington?
No. Right there in front of McDonald's.
Right there in front of McDonald's. Those apartments over there. This is where, so this happened here. And we didn't even know when the school reached out to me, we were trying to decide that we want to shoot this here in Vicksburg. Because part of it happened in Vicksburg, and she still lives sometimes in Vicksburg. And I said, let's go to Vicksburg. It's close to Jackson anyway. But when I came here and I said, maybe God's trying to do something different. If I'm coming down here doing this resident, maybe we should do it. And the reason I was opposed, I didn't know anybody in Brookhaven. You know, I knew a bunch of folk in Vicksburg. I'm like, well, if I need something, I can leverage my relationships. But it brought us here. But over 10 years ago, when I first met Miss Sanders, I was there to do a music video for a friend of mine. Had never done a music video, young people. Had never done one. But he said, I can pay you. And that changes a whole lot when he said, I can pay you. And I needed the money. So I showed up in the office, her and her partner were the investors in the music video for Dexter Allen. It was for Dexter. And for those of you who don't know who Dexter Allen is not a Grammy Award winner. Dexter Allen, who produced Bobby Rush's last album they won a Grammy for. Right? So, and Bobby was in the video. Bobby Rush was in that video, so that terrified me even more because I'm like, I'm finna mess up a music video with Bobby Rush in it. So I was coming there to give them the plan, and they were gonna make the payment for it. And this young lady walked out the back, and she looked at me, and she started rubbing up her arms, and like, ooh, man, I was like, what's going on? She started talking about chills. And if you know anything about her, when she started talking about chills, that means God is moving. You know, something is happening. And she said, young man, not only are you gonna make this video, you're gonna make movies. And she said, one day you're gonna make my movie. And all I was thinking to myself, I hope they can give me this shit as fast as I can, because this lady's crazy. I'm trying to get up out of here. Because listen, I hadn't been to anyone's film school. I didn't know anything about film. I didn't even know, film was not even a consideration. A year later, that film that you saw, Ashley, that was my first film. And it's been 10 years, and I haven't done anything else except something that's affiliated with making films. And it started with this woman believing in me, which started in a seed that Joe saw in her, so she could see things in me that I couldn't see in myself. And she didn't just say it, she was there to support me. Don't you think it's such a full circle moment that we come back to the place where she started? And the young man that she's spoken to, and the man who's spoken to her, and his wife that supported them, and now we make a project here. Isn't that beautiful? So without further ado, Ms. Colleen Sanders.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Maximus. Thank everyone who's here today. I am so excited. I cannot tell you how excited and nervous, and I may cry because I do that a lot. But I want to tell you a story about Joe. He was being real nice. When I first met Joe, he was in the hospital, and somehow we ended up getting a number, and he ended up calling me. And I'm like, what does this do? Whoa! He would call me every Friday afternoon to tell me that I'm going to work with him on on Monday. And I'm like, no, I can't go this time, no, I can't go this time. And then finally he said, I'm gonna pick you up. And told me what time it was gonna be, and that he was gonna take me to visit the people at the insurance company because he had told everybody about me. And I'm like, I'm not going. In the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep. I'm like, this man gonna come, he's gonna come with these people, and I'm not gonna be ready. So I could not sleep, worrying about what time was he coming, if he's really gonna come, and finally he did. And he came, we met the guys, all the people at the insurance company, and it was just like a light came on that, yes, all these other people can do this, I can do this too. But I didn't tell him because I was still mad with him. Because he hung up the phone on me. I had no way to call him back. So I had to be dressed when he got there. So that's how it started. But you know, in listening to Maximus talk about the things about me, thank you. I do appreciate it so much. But one of the things that I really want to say, and I'm probably going to get emotional here, is that you never know who sees something in you that you don't see in yourself. And sometimes when people come to you and tell you, I see this and this and this, and you believe them until you're able to see that in yourself. That's what he did for me. And all the things that I've learned from him and Pam over the years, I have traveled all over this world, so many different countries doing business based on the teaching that he gave me. And like he said, I could not look you in the eye because I was afraid. I didn't feel secure about myself, didn't know who I was, but he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and it allowed me every day to make little steps until I was able to see me the way that he saw me. So when people are looking at you and saying, hey, I see something in you, please believe that. Please believe that. You know, there are so many stories that we're going to do about my life, and there's a lot of them that's good, some of it's not so good, but this is the one that is the most important to me, is because how do you give back to someone that's given you so much? It is important that I tell that story first, because I want Joe to have his flowers and Pam have their flowers while we are able to smell them and also see them. That is important to me. I do nothing else. That is important to me. Because of what they put in me, I'm able to be this person that I didn't even know I was going to be. But I'm grateful for each and every one of you that's in my life, that has been in my life, and that has supported me all of these years. Even when you didn't agree with me, you still supported me, Mr. Good. So I thank you. I thank you. I thank the school for having us here. I thank Maximus. I thank Esther, Pastor Ryan. Thank you, Joe. I just thank each and every one of you. We're excited about what we're going to do right here in Brookhaven, Mississippi. And it's time for change. You know, everybody talk about those other movies. My movie is special, but each and every one of you have something special. Because someone has pulled something into you that you need to talk about. You know, people think a legacy is about how much money that you leave. It's never about money. It's always about what you put into another person. My granddaughter is 27 years old, never met Joe, but she knows who he is. That is a legacy. That is what a legacy is all about. It's what you do for somebody else. How you pour into them that they can think about you. So I thank you all for your time.
We're going to get ready to open this up to Q&A, but I want to just put a little stuff out here. You know, Miss Sanders is as modest as they come. She's as modest as they come. So I'm gonna brag just a little bit. Right? First woman to have a government contract with the Corps of Engineers. First woman to have a government contract with Camp Shelby. Right? Deals in businesses all over the world. Anybody heard of a little place called the Tomato Place in Vicksburg? Home. With her partner, right? Now she'll never tell you any of this stuff, right? And young folk, that Range Rover out there paid for her. Yeah, she don't want to tell you, but look, they'll be like, well, she got a Range Rover? Oh yeah. So no, this is somebody who came from Vicksburg and literally doing business in countries like Serenone. I didn't even know where Serenone was. I didn't even know it was a country. But this is someone that came from the same streets that you all are walking right now, who faced some adversity that none of you hope would ever face, but was able to overcome it. And she's still pouring into lives. And if it had not been for her, there might not have been a Maximus Wright as a filmmaker. She was the one that showed me how to fill out my 501c3 to get the Jackson Film Festival. Probably wouldn't be any of this stuff. Might not have been asked for Kennedy. We don't know. But it started with a seed, and that seed keeps germinating. So at this time, we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have. Not all at one time. No questions? Yes.
How do you select the stories you choose to tell in the films that you make?
Me personally? Ooh, wow. I typically don't select other people's stories. You know, I have stuff that I'm working on all the time. But typically, if I'm selecting a story, it's a story that convicts me. Because filmmaking is the hardest thing I have ever done. And when you commit to a story, it's like you're married to it. You have to become obsessed to be a filmmaker. So it can't be just about money for me. It has to be something that is a conviction that keeps me up at night to make me work, make me go harder. I think I don't choose films, I think they choose me. And that's what this story was. This is a story that has chosen me. And it's a story that, from the beginning of me even considering the idea of being a filmmaker, was even spoken and said, you're going to do it. And it grabbed a hold to me once. I've been doing this for 10 years, it probably took me 7 before I believed that I could really do it. But once I realized I could, I knew that one day when the time was right that I was going to have to do it. So they choose me, I don't choose them. Anyone else with questions? Yes.
So you have a story that you want to tell, but it's not written, right? So how do you go about assembling the crew of who's going to write the screenplay and all of the parts and pieces that go into creating this before you're even auditioning and shooting? You know what I mean? Like, how do you go from that idea to getting those? Because you make movies, but you don't write the screenplays, right? Or do you?
We can. Or we can coach you like Miss Sanders. We coached Miss Sanders. She wrote her own screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah, so she had an idea. She started telling me the story. We started meeting and consulting, and then she started formatting. We started taking her through the formatting process. We started saying, okay, we can't tell all of that, but we can tell this. And we just started, and then we started going through the program and started teaching her how to eat. Now she's different. Some folks say, let me just hire you to do it. Not her. She wants to know how to do everything. She wants to know how to do it all. Am I right? Ms. Clark, Dr. Clark? Yeah. I forgot the first name. Y'all know Dr. Clark. Catherine? Yeah. Okay. Am I right, Catherine? She wants to do everything. So, yeah, you can hire people to do that. Okay. Or you can have folks to coach. In her case, she wants to learn it herself. She wants to go through all the processes. And we're here to to encapsulate that, to make that happen. So, yeah. So, everything starts with a script. This is for the class here. The script is the Bible. The script is the blueprint for every production. The script is going to tell you how many people are going to be involved. It's going to tell you how much it's going to cost. It's going to tell you how many days you're going to be filming. So the script is pretty much the blueprint for the whole project. If you don't have a script, you don't have a project. So everything starts with the script. Okay? All right. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
When is the Jackson Film Festival?
It is the last week in July. It's July 20th through 25th. Okay, you can go to our website, jxnfilmfestival.com. Okay. Yes, yes.
Where in town are y'all filming? Like, you don't pick out locations yet and stuff?
You gotta help me out here. I know we're possibly shooting something in the department. Locations. Some of the locations we're shooting at.
One's gonna be.
We're going to be filming at the Aspen, and also we're going to be filming at the Fish Fry. Because the reason we're doing the fish fry is because part of the process of our training was that we would have lunch meetings and as a training opportunity. And I think in particular scene here, it amplifies that and the importance. And Pam is there with me at this meeting, and it's just a real meaningful part of the script itself is that particular scene. But it will be at the fish fry. And I think you may have the same Yeah, in Aspen. Aspen is going to be the hospital scene where we first met.
And it's possible that we might be doing a couple of office scenes here at the school. It's quite possible. Yes, sir.
Can you tell
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop saying yes, sir, because obviously I'm not seeing clear. Yes.
Can you tell us about your first few years in filmmaking?
Can I talk about my first few years? Ooh, it was a blur. It was a blur. So I want to make sure that I'm really asking, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for?
Just like how you started to learn like proper filmmaking techniques.
How did I start learning proper filmmaking techniques? Ooh. So I did not go to film school, right? So I kind of hated sometimes when I met Miss Sanders because she is such a praying woman. And when she said that I'm going to start making films, I didn't think any more about it. But I started going home and I couldn't sleep at night because these stories just kept coming to my head. And I literally started writing out what I was hearing just so I could go to sleep, not to make a film. And before I knew it, I had a script. Then I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this? Right? So I went and started saying, okay, I tried to convince people to help me. Nobody would help me. They said, no, we're not going to do it for free. So I started trying to raise money. And I said, I just need about $5,000. And I could play all 5 roles. I could be the love interest. I could be everybody, right? I didn't even know how to format a film right. I didn't know how to format a script. So I'm just going what I got. So nobody would help me. But I still couldn't go to sleep. This is when I say it chooses me. I didn't choose it, it chose me. Couldn't go to sleep. So I just kept praying. I said, okay, God, if this is what you want, then you're going to make a way for it. And I was like, well, what do I do? So it came to me, I wasn't asking enough. Investors didn't take me seriously because I wasn't asking enough. So I went back to these same people who wouldn't give me $200, and I said, I need $500,000 to make this film. I got my first check for $50 grand. So now I start telling you about how my filmmaking process happened, how I learned proper technique. It was trial by fire, and I was terrified all the time because now somebody has given me some real money, and I know I don't know what I'm doing, right? So we keep raising, and then the crazy part is that folks start getting mad because I didn't ask them for money. I'm like, this is the craziest thing in the world. What is going on? So the money just kept piling up. Now I have no choice but to make this film, and I don't know what I'm doing. Hired a crew from Houston. Who said it was from Houston? Hired a crew from Houston to come and help me produce this project. I was so bad on set, I didn't even know when it was my time to say something. They had to stop and say, hey, Maximus, you need to say action. I didn't know anything. So that first film, I was terrified every day. I was looking for somebody else to do it. I was doing anything. I said, this woman is crazy, and now she got me messed up because I got all these folks money, and they looking for me to make something that I don't even know how to make. So I was fumbling, bumbling, making every mistake possible, and then one day after they got through laughing at me, because they're laughing at me now. They're laughing, seriously laughing in my face, laughing because I don't know what I'm doing. I stopped. I walked out, I prayed, I said, Lord, I can't, I'm too deep in, I'm in too deep, I can't get out. And I got calm. And that calm came down to this. I'm the only one here that knows what this film is supposed to look like, and the only one here to know what it's supposed to feel like. So I called everybody back in, and I said, hey, who's signing the checks around here? They said, you are. Well, I'm signing the checks, so let me tell you something. It don't matter if I don't know what the calls are. I'm going to tell you what I want to do, and you're going to do it, because I knew how to be a leader. I said, you're going to do it, and if you got a problem with that, y'all can leave. Anybody want to leave? No, sir. Well, good then. If I ain't called it right, I'm just not calling it right. I'm going to keep talking. If you don't know what I'm doing, ask me another question. But if anybody got a problem with that, anybody that's laughing, y'all get up on out of here. And we made the film. So my first film was my film school, and this is what I was telling the kids in the film project today. You are waiting for someone to say that you're good enough. I said, why aren't you filmmakers right now? Well, we're in school. What does that have to do with anything? Do you have a gift? Do you have a passion? Then make it. Even if you got to make it bad. Because the question that you're asking me is, how do I get through it? And it's saying we're looking for perfection. Filmmaking is not about looking for something with perfection. We're looking, is it believable? That's what we're looking for. When you look at a finished product, you don't know if it was 1,000 people behind it or 5. But do you know excellence when you see it? That's all you need. All you need to do is say, is this frame excellent? Is this acting the best it could be? And however you get there, you'll get there if you don't stop. 3 quotes, and I'm going to move on to the next question. This is how I approach anything, whether I know how to do it or not. You start where you are, you use what you got, and you finish what you start. That's it. And when I started out with that film, I had an iPad. I didn't even have a camera. I had an iPad. So the kids was using this little word I had never heard of before, Joe. They was using this word in class, and I just kept getting confused. Now, babe, what was the word? What was the word y'all were using?
I don't even
You don't know the word that I kept asking y'all what that means?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, that C-A-N-T word. I'm like, what is that? How you say it? Kent? How do y'all pronounce that?
I never used that.
Oh, okay. Somebody in your class used it.
I never used that.
Huh?
It wasn't her class.
It wasn't her class that did. I'm like, I don't understand that word.
Mr. Shelburne, it was 4th block. So it was all of us, but it wasn't me.
So that first year was a lot of learning. But you want me to tell you what the 10th year is like? A lot of learning. You're a forever student. Forever student. And get comfortable with it. All right? Did I answer your question? Okay. Yeah, yes. Thank you.
I have a question for Ms. Sanders. You already answered it in a way. It was about the story. And my question was going to be, did you author a book about your life? But I see that you didn't, so now I want to know, do you plan to do
No. She did.
Oh, okay.
She did 3.
Actually, I have 3 already.
Okay.
And From Darkness to Light will come out in the first part of April. I'm sorry to tell you.
That's going to be hard.
So it's in 3 parts? It's 3 different books?
Yes.
Okay.
One of them was the little nuggets that my mother gave me when she was very young. When I was very young, they helped me to get through a process. And the second one was life after abuse, because I'm a survivor of it. So that one was about that. And then my last one that I recently completed was the 3 C's. And for 2 years I've gone through cancer. Thank God, I'm cancer free right now. But the last 2 years I've gone through cancer, and I wrote a book about my journey.
And your books are available Amazon, your own website?
On my own website.
Just call me.
No, you didn't know.
But yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. I said I was going to stop it. Yes.
How bad did you want it? Like, how bad?
How bad did I want it?
Like, how bad did you want to like, get better at what you was doing? Like, what was your work ethic?
My work ethic. Oh, okay. So I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. Are you trying to determine what level of commitment you need to go within yourself to make it happen for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a really interesting question. Do you love it?
Of course.
You do love it. Would you do it for free?
Yeah.
Les Brown said success is doing something you love so much that you do it for free. But you do it so well, people are paid to do it. The only advice I can tell you right now is just keep doing it. Keep doing it where you are. If you love it, keep doing it. It's not so much about how bad you want it, because it seems like you have to overcome some obstacle that's trying to stop you. No, there is no obstacle. You're the only competition. The only thing that's stopping you from getting everything you want is you. That's it. It's not some person out here. It's not the economy. It's not who you don't know. It's you. I have been doing this for 10 years in Mississippi. I didn't even know anyone to call. I didn't even know who to talk to. My friends would be sitting around me. Dexter would tell me, he said, man, I'm sad. He said, man, I want to help you, but I just don't know how. But if you stay true to it and just start where you are and use what you got, if you stay committed, it's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. You wanna make
Can I
sense?
say something on
Sure,
that?
absolutely, absolutely.
Because I think about the calling of ministry in answering your question, what keeps you going? And I was taught when I surrendered my life to the gospel ministry, if you can do anything else, go do it.
Amen, brother.
And what that mentor of my life said was this: you have to be called to do what you're about to step in to do. You have to be called. It has to come from outside of you. And I believe, obviously, that my vocation as a calling, as a minister, as a pastor, as a preacher of the gospel. My wife's a teacher. I believe that's a calling. You'll find out real quick when you're teaching 5-year-olds if you're called to it or not. She's been doing it 20 plus years. She does not count the hours. She does not count the pay, obviously. She does not count the cost because she's called. And so I would just challenge all of those who aspire to be a Maximus. He's called. And he would probably say, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he probably couldn't do anything else because he knows this is what he was made for.
Elsa got on, she wanted me to talk to you about my work ethic. And thank you, Pastor, because you are 1,000% right. I'm on a mission to create 100 filmmakers in the next 7 years. We are 33 years in. And I always try to run them off, and I say, if you can do anything else, go do it. Because this requires everything. Anything that's worth pursuing is going to require all of you. All right? There's no such thing as a time clock when you're passionate about something. I do this all the time. I left you all today, and I'm still thinking about film work. I get up in the morning, I'm thinking about what I'm called to do because it is something that has overtaken me. And it's something that is like breathing to me. And when you find it, you found that success. Because it's not the money, it's the feeling. It's the feeling that it gives you. And the joy that it gives you. And to see those kids light up when I introduced concepts that they never thought about, that was worth anything. That was worth more than anything. But what I've also noticed is this: if you get good at that, the money will find you. It will find you. I can guarantee you. All right? Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious about the movie. Do y'all have, at what point in your life is it covering, or is it covering your whole life? At what point does it start?
No, it covers the younger part of my life, about 22 to 29, I believe. That's what it covers. When I was actually in the insurance industry, and Joe introduced me to that. Yeah. There was one that we was going to do before that, but I want to keep it real positive before we actually release anything else. Because to me, this is the better story, because you get to talk about how someone else hold love and respect in you that you didn't even know. So it was important that I told this story first.
So this is basically one story of
It's
your
going to be a
life?
series, yes.
One,
yes.
And then there'll be more?
It'll be more, yes.
And so somebody will be acting, and
Yes.
you won't be acting?
No.
Y'all won't be, how did you fit into that?
How did I fit in?
What do you, I'm sorry, was that rude?
No.
I'm always around. In other words, like I said, we started in business together back in 95, 96. We've tried several different things, partners in business. And then when she decided to come out, and don't want to reveal everything, but she had a very, very abusive childhood.
Okay, we don't need to talk about that if you're going to cry.
Anyway.
Well, I'll cry with y'all.
She had a really tough time, driven her to a point where she was committing suicide. And she had an encounter with God that night that really changed her life, but it took her many years to come out, 40 years later, for her to come out. And she, you know, I just tried to help her, you know, and because her story needed to be told. And everywhere she's told that story, there was not a dry eye in the house. So if you like what you're hearing now, wait till she gets to the early parts of her life. Huh? Yes, yes.
I just took notes, for you, Mr. Maximus. I know you were saying at the beginning, like how, the movies that people watch that portrays Mississippi, for you, Miss Sanders, I asked if Mississippi's burning and the whistle of a young boy that he may heard of a train blowing, just imitation of the sound, got him killed, and the fight of a right to vote lay down at the courthouse doors of the body of Mr. Lamar Smith. How do you bring in the love and not color or separation for a home seeker's paradise with your darkness reaching our community, shining the light?
I think if I'm understanding you correctly, I think my story is about kindness, about love, about respect for another human being. That's what I see for my story that I shared with Joe and Pam, is a respect that we have for each other. And to be able to not only talk about that, because there's what we don't understand. We all in here have a story. Somebody in here have touched somebody else's life, but we don't hear about those. We always hear about the negative things that happens in one's life. When these type of stories definitely need to be told, because they're important. Whether it's black, whether it's white, it does not matter, but it needs to be told. So when I look at what you're saying based on my life, I'm thinking about the respect that another human being had for me, and that's important.
So you count questions like, how do we tell that story in light of the dark?
Everything that's just based on,
Well,
you know, what the community has been through, like,
right.
you know, like, okay, there is a darkness.
Yes.
The light, most of them can't see that, some of them have given up.
So this is, let me answer your question. Let me answer this. You know, it's amazing to me that when everybody thinks about Mississippi and they think about film, they only think darkness.
Yeah,
They only think darkness. But Louisiana, their past is just as bad as ours. Alabama, we might as well be twins. Florida, Georgia, but you say Atlanta and it make you forget the whole state of Georgia. You say New Orleans, it make you forget the whole state of Louisiana. You say Charlotte, and it make you forget all about North Carolina, everything that's going on. So I'm sitting up here saying, how is it that they're only making money off of us when it's the darkness? Like ain't nothing good has ever happened in Mississippi. How is it? So if we don't tell the stories, they're gonna only think there's dark. We just had a conversation here. Do you know that there's only one Grammy Museum outside of LA and it's in Mississippi? Do you know why? There are more Grammy winners that came from Mississippi than all the states in the union. That's why there's a Grammy Museum in Cleveland. They ain't telling a story about that, are they? And then when they come in to shoot these films, they won't even give us credit. Cadillac Records, part of it was shot right here in Mississippi. Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash story, but that was shot here in Mississippi. They won't give us credit for it. So how is it that you're going to come use our natural resources and make films and you make millions of dollars, but when you put Mississippi in the title, you just racist? That's wrong. Because it ain't going to make your kids feel safe to come here, and it ain't going to make people want to come here. And if people don't come here and we don't create commerce, the state dies. Now, if Mississippi that bad, I don't want to go live nowhere else. I don't. And I'm tired of them throwing it up in my face like, y'all got running water? What you think? No, we just swishing out there in the swamp back there in the backyard. I'm sick of that foolishness. But the only way we're going to educate them, because conversations don't do it, we got to put movies out. And they got to see this land for themselves. I'm going to tell you this little story, and look, this is just my life. This is how it works. Invited 6 executives from Hollywood that came here to Mississippi for the first time. They were trembling. Until they got downtown and started going to the coffee shop. Like, wow, look at this, y'all got coffee shops. Well, this reminds us of California. Like, what were we doing? We were just pulling the beans out the field and just putting them in the hot water? Okay, I'm sorry. So we picked up one of them from the airport. We went to Starbucks. A guy by the name of John, who's over, Jason McCarthy. Jason McCarthy is over the Pride organization here in Mississippi. Guy walked out. He said, Maximus, how you doing, man? He said, if you ever need a gay guy for your movie, I'm your guy. I turned and looked at the guy and said, how many stereotypes did we break just by coming to Starbucks? Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. We could make movies for the rest of our life about what's wrong with us. But how does that help us? What helps us is by telling fair and balanced stories. And what I'm saying is, cinema in Mississippi has not been a fair and balanced story. And we got the second oldest film office in the world. The Mississippi Film Office is the second oldest film office, not in the United States, but in the world. It's older than hip hop. And you mean the only movies you can talk about is Mississippi Burning the Time and Giving the Help? Really? I'm sorry. Somebody else asked a question. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, any other questions?
I do have.
Yes.
In education, we have, so many people who are called. What caused you, is there a time that you can think of that caused you to look up? Because I'm sure you had walls around, right?
Oh.
I mean, going through the things you've been through, all of us have stories, and a lot of our kids have been through hell, just like, what you have, and more will come behind you. So what made you not keep those walls there? What made you look up and see Joe and want that relationship? Because we as teachers and educators want that too with our students.
Okay. Two parts. Many, many years ago, when I was younger, things happened to me. And one day, it was getting ready to happen again. I took off and started running. And when I started running, I ran to a gravel pit. And I stood with my back to the back of the gravel pit. And my thought was, I asked God to forgive me because I heard you would go to heaven if you commit suicide. And I asked my mom if she would forgive me because I couldn't take this anymore. Because before my mom died, she asked me to walk with my brothers and sisters until they was able to walk for themselves. And so that is a promise that to this day I'm still keeping. But I went to the top, and I remember falling back from the gravel pit that was really high. And as I was falling, it looked like the clouds was turning into little angels. And when I land on some mattress that someone had brought away. I got up, and at that moment, I thought my arms, legs, everything was broken because I'd fallen so far. And so when I got up, I walked back to the house, and my family had greens. My thought was to cook greens, so my family would have food when they got home, because I'm still waiting to die. I'm still waiting to die. So I cook, I clean, I get everything ready, so when my brothers and sisters came home, they would have food to eat. So that night, I went to bed, and I felt something pushing my feet, because I thought it was cats. We had cats. I thought they was pushing my feet. And it wasn't. I kept saying scat, scat, and nothing happened. So I got up, went to the bathroom, came back, and when I got back in the bed, I covered my head up. I heard a voice that said, "Heal little faith." That voice said, "Heal little faith," twice. And then when I pulled the cover from over my head, I saw a light and an image that I thought was God. It says, "Ask anything in my name and it shall be done." And only thing that I said is, You don't have to remove all of my pain. Just let me know that you have not left me. And when I woke up that morning, I was on the floor, and still kneeling from praying. And that became the first day of the rest of my life at that age. Moving forward, meeting Joe, because of all the things that had happened in my life, I couldn't trust him. I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. I couldn't understand why he saw something in me when other people just saw whatever they wanted to see. I couldn't deal with that. I didn't know. But he was persistent, and he really was just there. But it's only been a year that he even know what happened to me. I never told him. Never told him anything about all the bad things that happened to me. He only found out recently. And then thinking about that, if he didn't know, he didn't feel sorry for me, but he just really saw something in me that nobody saw. And that's why I'm so grateful, because somebody saw something in me that I didn't even know I had. And I will always be grateful for that, because that's the story that needs to be told. And that's why we're telling it.
Any other questions for any? Yes. Ms.
Earlier, Mr. Joe, you said that y'all met in a hospital. What were y'all doing in the hospital?
Well, I was a real big race driver. I was going in Daytona. No. I was just having a routine test run. And I really wasn't sick. I wasn't ill. I was bored to death. Anybody would come running down the hall, I'd flag them down and want to talk. And this is kind of what it was. And usually your sister, and they came in. We just had a really good conversation, because I could talk to people pretty easily, and I was impressed with her on the first encounter. And then that's when I told Pam, I said, well, this is somebody that's got a real good personality. She's got some talent somewhere. And I was a recruiter also for the insurance company I was working for. And probably a little bit of selfishness there on my part is that I saw somebody that could be successful in that business. And that's kind of how it got started. And then as it developed from being a business thing, it developed into more of a friendship and more of a mentorship. And then that's when Pam also got involved. And over a period of time, we hired her stepmom, her brothers, in a business that we had in Brookhaven. And it just developed over the years, unconsciously developed.
How did you find her after the first visit?
I had a phone number.
Okay, y'all switched phone numbers the first visit?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I wanted to recruit her
Okay.
into that business, because it was strictly a business approach all the way through our whole entire lives, and then it became friendships, like a father-daughter type relationship, where when she hurt, we hurt. When she had disappointments, Pam and I hurt. And we were always there for her, that if she had a problem, we were always there to talk to her and to encourage her, and just make sure that she didn't stray too far from the game plan. And it was a tough love type approach a lot of times. She'd get mad and storm out, have a fit, and I'd go and say, okay, it's over, now let's go back to work. And that was the relationship.
And he still does that.
Well, she developed a work ethic. And if you don't have a good work ethic, whether it's movies or whether it's life or whether it's a religious experience, it doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have a good work ethic, you just won't be successful in this life. And we stuck by that pretty strong. And we had a program that, you went out and you did this. If you didn't do this, you wouldn't be successful. And when you fall short of those goals, I called. I remember one night, our program called for making 12 presentations a day, cold calls. if you made 12 presentations a day, you would be successful because you make 3 or 4 sales. She called me up one night, and it was about 8 o'clock, and I said, you know, how was your day? She said, oh, it was just great. She said, I made 8 presentations today. And I said, well, you're going back out to work, aren't you? And she said, well, it's 8 o'clock at night. I said, what does it take to be successful? And she said, 12. She went back out and 12 of her other presentations and ended up with a better day from her last 4 presentations. It's kind of a tough love type of approach, and that's kind of what we took it. A tremendous amount of respect.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question again for Ms. Sanders. I apologize.
No.
So in your healing journey, I know you had your faith
Yes.
to lean on. Would you say that, did you have any type of outside therapy, counseling, or what else did you lean on besides your faith?
You know,
And I know that's all it takes, but I'm just asking about other
Um,
influences.
You know, one of the hardest things that you have to do is accept and acknowledge when things happen to you. I didn't accept it, nor did I acknowledge it. I was just going. But the moment I accepted the fact these things have happened to me and acknowledged those, my whole life changed. Because I can't do anything about the past, but I can take my past and learn and do something about my future. And that's what I did.
I wanted to say though, when she started telling her story, every time she told it, it became more empowering to her. And you really want to help somebody out of their situation, tell your own story, make appropriate self-disclosures, and then they feel good about opening up, and then now you find out that y'all on the same page. And she had guys calling her saying, it happened to me. So I mean, she grew a lot from being what she was.
You know, sometimes we get hung up in not wanting people to know. Most times they already know. You know, and it's not that you go around telling people, but you acknowledge that for yourself. You acknowledge that for yourself. And a lot of people I had to forgive. You know, I had to write letters to people that hurt me. And once I did that, it became freedom for me. Because, you know, and sometimes we don't do that. We just hold on because we want to stay angry. I don't choose to stay angry. I choose to forgive, because when you forgive, that's a gift that you just gave to yourself. And I accept my gift.
We also have a weekly radio broadcast that goes all over the world, and she's my co-host. And it started with her reaching out to people who had been abused, letting them tell their story. Not people who were still in it, but they were on a good trajectory on the way out of it. And then my story was an ex-offender, had a life sentence plus 60 years in prison. And so we got together and we began to find people who were like us to tell their stories. And it's been healing for both of us. So the young lady, we had the questions. She was on our show about a month or so ago, and very, very powerful testimony. So, Pastor, Joe, pay a minimum. So, it's helped to get to tell.
I think Esther wanted to say something, and then if you have a question, raise your hand now, we'll be ready to go back.
My name is Esther Young, and I work with Maximus. And I met Maximus when we were both in college at Tougaloo in the 90s. So I've known him for a long time. And you asked a question about his work ethic, and I think you asked a question about what he knew about film or something to that effect. Maximus is a person of excellence, and it's a habit for him. You know, he doesn't, everything he does, he intends to do it well. With every fiber of his being, it is a commitment to excellence. Whether it's sweeping, taking out the trash, writing a script, coaching, Nicole, you know, he has coaching clients. Everything he does is with a spirit of excellence. And that's not something you wake up with. That's something you hone over time. you know, so I wanted to say that to those two individuals that asked the question. And Dr. Hirsch, I wanted to come back to something you asked about, what do you do with the kids who come with levels of trauma? And I remember, even today, we had the students from Natchez, and there were several different students within that group who you could tell were going through. You know, they would retreat when the conversation shifted, and then they would wake up when there was something pertinent to them. And you could feel it, you know, you could feel that energy. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, the medium of film and the arts in general can be such a healing avenue for kids and adults who don't know what to do with the pain they carry. Yeah. And I think it's up to us as adults and healthy people to be really authentic in our self-presentation with them, because they need to see what healthy looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, you know, and they're looking for people who are true, you know, who are going to do what they say they're going to do, who are going to be consistent in their presentation, and are looking to connect, because no one wants to live in that mire. You know, everybody, we're all looking to be pulled out. And we do, and people, we encounter people in our lives over time. And I'm so grateful that Ms. Sanders had someone like Joe, because he did that for her. And I think all of us may have someone we can relate to or remember who poured into us or pulled something out of us, you know, that helped to transform our lives, or, you know, to change the trajectory of our lives. You know, and I think about what you all have here at the School of the Arts, and how it's such a gift, you know. And I'm gonna promote it, you know, because I didn't know it was free, you know. But it is such a rare jewel, and I know that you all know, you know, the power of the arts to heal. And I would love to be in conversation with you all. We as an organization are willing to be in conversation with you all about arts and mental health. You know, ways in which we can be more intentional about creating arts that help people who are struggling with recovering from traumatic experiences, you know, use the arts for that purpose and create works that help themselves and their peers and their communities and their families, you know, to overcome such obstacles.
You know, love is action word, right? And sometimes what we're looking for is to be seen. I don't think things are coincidental. I think when we come together, we're trying to do things for the right reasons, the right people to do it. Right? Sweetheart, I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to ask you to say anything. But I just want you to come here, and I just want you to love this lady. Okay? Yes, that's all I want. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. I just feel like this is what you need. Okay? All right? When I got into filmmaking, it was never about, I didn't think I was going to ever make money, but I didn't know how to make it money. I just knew that there was something I needed to make. And I see that we need more work like this. Because film sometimes changes life. Because when you see someone and they tell a story, and it's your story, it makes you feel a little less alone in the world. That's why we got to tell these other stories. All right? If there's nothing else, we're back in the hands of Dr.
So when will the darkness to light be released?
Well, we got to start filming. We start filming in April. Start filming the first weekend in April. It's probably going to take us a couple of weekends to knock it out. We do need support from the community. We need extras. We need folks to fill the Aspen. We need folks to fill the Haven. Is the Haven? What is it? Yeah. We need background extras for that. I've already talked to Brother Shepard. Yeah, I talked to him in the class. So some of them have agreed to help me out on crew. So we're going to provide opportunities so they can kind of shadow some of the people on crew. We want to be a gift to keep giving. You know, we are serious about forging relationships in Brookhaven. We're serious about saying, hey, we're not just talking, we want to be part of that process. So, and Ms. Nicole, look, Nicole, raise your hand. Nicole, I know she's trying to sneak out, but Nicole is part of the film. She's playing a role in the film. Actually playing Shelby, right, in the film. One of my coaching students has written an excellent book called, what's the name of the book?
You get me, don't waste your cancer.
Don't Waste Your Cancer. It is a great book. Both of them are great books on cancer. Thank you so much for coming down here. I know you got to get back to work.
I'm sorry, we have to go.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for coming tonight. If you can, come back and join us on Tuesday in Lambton for the next part of our series. We have 4 more events this month, and the sign is right out front. We also have the art gallery that you can see the students' artwork downstairs, so I welcome you to do all of that. And we can't wait to be a part of all of this. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm very excited to see positive Mississippi